So this bill just passed in the House, federally in the House of Commons, Bill C-4, banning
conversion therapy.
Banning conversion therapy.
Yeah.
And there's not a single MP, a federal MP, that voted against this. It was unanimous in the Senate and also in the House. For me, as a social conservative, it's. I was talking to my wife about this afternoon. I said, "Where's the future of this? Like, where is this headed? Do you see a split happening? Another party starting federally? Do you see this going back, or do you think it's the writing's on the wall and the culture is just changing too quickly? And if you're Christian, you're just sorry, you're in the ultra minority now."
I think the Christian is being pushed out. I really do. And, the burning of 7 churches in the West recently sort of underscored that, where John Horgan put out a tweet, "Tut, tut, you shouldn't do that," sort of praising with faint dams, if you like. You can damn with faint praise, or you can praise with faint dams.
Yeah.
And so I think the writing is on the wall for Christians who want to hold to the principles of their faith and be involved in politics. The vehicle, there is really very little political vehicle for them anymore. Perhaps the People's Party, but the media has consigned the People's Party to the extremist wing. And so I wonder if that's a vehicle either. And, the Christian Heritage Party is, of course, very narrow in its appeal as well. And so to have a party with a broad appeal that includes Christians, I don't know if that's in our future. I really don't. I was talking to a Christian school principal a few years ago, and he said, "We came to this country so that we could live by our conscience. When do we have to move away from this country so we can continue to live by our conscience?"
Yeah.
And that, to me, for him to have to say that is tragic. And, I always called for the rights for LGBTQ people, and I always did. But I said, everybody has rights. Everyone is, all people of responsibility and good intention should be welcome in BC and welcome to participate at the political table. We all have rights, and diversity and inclusion must include Christians as well as everybody else. Devout Roman Catholics, evangelicals, Sikhs, Muslims, all those people who represent the broad diversity of faith and mores in our country.
Yeah.
And I think we're losing that. And if the Conservatives federally lose that, they will, I don't think they'll ever form government.
And so, there's a lot of guys that are my age, younger men and women, that are full of passion and that hold conservative values, that want to know what to do. Do we move away? Do we go push super hard into being influential and try to change the political spectrum, or go into that world now? What advice would you give? Like, what would you say?
The only thing I can think of is for social conservatives to join the Conservative Party and force the BC Liberals to broaden their perspective.
The provincial BC Conservatives.
Yeah. And so the same thing could happen on a federal level, although I think it would be far more difficult. Provincially, it would be much easier because the BC Liberals know very well that if their vote is split even a little bit, they will not be able to stand against the NDP. And I think they would be eager to bargain and to make common cause. But I think the issue probably has to be forced that way. I don't think, although, the BC Liberals want social conservatives to be in the tent, obviously they're not willing to provide any policy support or
they say come in the tent, but leave your values out.
Exactly.
Yeah. And what about federally? Like right now, when I look at the federal Conservative Party, it's not conservative at all. And the closest I can see is the People's Party, which is, in my view, not conservative either. It's libertarian and also doesn't care about social issues. They just kind of leave you, they say you can have them, but don't talk about them. Although,
I'm old enough to remember Brian Mulroney and his Conservatives, and I always felt aggrieved in the 80s because I felt that Brian Mulroney was too liberal.
Okay.
But I would argue today that Brian Mulroney had to be more liberal in order to capture Ontario and Quebec. You can't win without Ontario and Quebec. But he was big enough to include the social conservatives in the party. So when the abortion bill came, when the abortion law was shut down, he was willing to introduce a new law, but the House and the Senate could not come to an agreement on it. And so, he was willing to accommodate everybody. And that's what gave him, like the largest majority in Canadian history, I think, in about 1988.
Yeah.